Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we feature the story of Sasha Ulova, a journalist who went undercover as a hotel housekeeper in Ireland. This is an important story which highlights the shocking reality of the daily working conditions in some areas of the cleaning and hospitality sector. Our thanks to Sasha Ulova for exposing the extreme conditions these workers must endure on a daily basis.
The story begins when a woman, originally from the Czech Republic, arrives at a small hotel about 50 kilometers from Dublin, where she has applied for a cleaning job through an agency. When no one is at reception to greet her, she goes to the bar and asks for the duty manager, following the instructions given to her. The young waiter calls for James in Slovak. It's a telling sign of the staff makeup in this secluded Irish hotel. She had been interviewed online for this job, where the hotel warned her of its isolated location with nothing to do in the evenings. She had said she didn't mind, as she enjoyed solitude. But as she begins her tour of the hotel, she quickly realizes she's surrounded by Slovaks, much like she was surrounded by Poles during her previous farm job in Germany. The hotel's cook, who's leaving that day, tells her it's because of stress, not low pay, that he's quitting. After her shift, Veronica vents her frustrations. She had worked at the hotel last year for 5 months and was convinced to return with the promise of better pay, but that promise was broken. Now, with fewer people in housekeeping, the workload is unbearable. There used to be 5 people, now there are just 2, Veronica says, clearly overwhelmed. Like many others, she returned because the wages in Slovakia weren't enough to survive on, and she didn't want to be a burden on her family. The hotel's pay system remains mysterious. Some workers, like Nina, break down in tears because their pay is so low, but they haven't been tracking their hours. Colleagues warn her that if she leaves the job early, she might not get paid at all. Mikuláš, a waiter with dreams of starting an organic farm, shrugs off the lack of transparency, saying, "If they want to screw me, they'll screw me." Sarah, a young Slovak woman working reception, and her boyfriend Sebastian, who works as a cook, also struggle with the harsh reality of their situation. Saddled with debt, they came to Ireland to make ends meet, but the grueling work and stress make them question their decision. Sarah even says that if they had the money for a ticket home, they would leave, but they can't afford it. The workers are entitled to 1 day off per week, but some haven't had a break in weeks due to staff shortages. Shifts are erratic, with some being sent home after a few hours of unpaid downtime, only to return to work later that night. On her days off, she spends time with Barbara, another Slovak colleague, who recalls how in Slovakia, Ukrainian workers were exploited in the same way. For them, we are something like the Ukrainians are for us, Barbara observes, drawing a bleak parallel between their situation in Ireland and the way foreign workers are treated back home. After a week, she decides to leave the hotel, sending a polite text to the duty manager. She's sad to leave behind the great group of people she has bonded with, but knows she can't continue in such conditions. However, days later, the manager reaches out, asking for her bank details and whether she has managed to get her PPS number, a sign that the hotel might have found out she's actually a journalist. In a WhatsApp group chat, the manager finally asks the staff if they have received their pay and pay slips, something none of her colleagues had seen until then. Eventually, she's paid €369 for 8 days of work, but the amount is unclear, given the deductions for board, lodgings and taxes. After she leaves, she hears from Sarah that she and Sebastian had returned to Slovakia, but soon after, they came back to Ireland. With no other job prospects, they felt stuck. Sarah's message summed it up. "It will be better now that we know what we are getting into. We have lower expectations.